Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Crafting Khalden episode. Uh, there's something I need to clear up, first of all. So, a little bit embarrassed about my last video. Vic left me a thing, and apparently I didn't get it. But that's okay, I'm sure most of you got it. So, anyway, apparently the chicken wing thing was reference to a TikTok video, which I'm told TikTok is an app and they show vines. So that would be why I don't have it and I don't know about it. But if you throw in your YouTube search bar, just chicken wing TikTok, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I did. It's pretty dumb, and I wish I didn't know. But oh well. So what we're gonna do is I saw that Vic was on the server. I think we're gonna head over to where he's working and see if he needs a hand. I think he's digging a hole, but that's about all I know. So Vic, I popped over here and we dug this giant hole. You gonna tell us why we did this?
Yeah, sure thing. We're gonna make a stacked on top of each other iron farm that was designed by Waddles. Actually, links will be in the description of my video. I'll send you the link so you can put them in yours.
Okay, perfect. So I'm guessing that's why we have this. Well, in our resource pack, it's diorite block
Yeah.
in each one of these spots.
Yes. Yeah. So that basically marks out where our zombie needs to stand, but 20 blocks off the floor. So we need to build up 20 blocks, and that's where our zombies are going to be. So we can build this out, I think, and first, and then kind of move on from there. Go get the guys and put them in place and all those kind of things.
Oh, hey, that sounds like fun. Maybe I'll stick around and help you with that.
All right, all right. Thanks, I appreciate it.
So the first thing we had to do was find a village. Now, Vic had a pretty good idea as to where one was. However, I wasn't sure. So I went to the wrong spot and then had to fly around until I found the right spot. But once we were there, we ended up trapping villagers in a couple of boats. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but villagers, to me, are the worst entity to deal with. They just, they never cooperate, they never do what you told them. And yeah, it's just a mess. So like as you just saw there a few seconds ago, uh, in my boat, we had two villagers get stuck, and I had to kick them both out of the boat and then fight very, very hard to try to get one back in. Now, once I managed to do that, it was easy for a few minutes, but boats can't actually go up and down blocks easily. So there is ways, but for the most part you can't. So basically what we did is we made sure that it was always at the exact same level, except for maybe a few spots where we only went down like a little bit of a step, but then the next block was back at the normal. So we were able to get to the water. Now I had to go out several times and figure out how to get back. This is what made it so painful because we had to dig through this area. Not the end of the world, but also not fun in a boat with a villager and no water underneath. But we managed to get through. Almost died a few times, but luckily the village was still nearby at this point, and I was able to go sleep. After sleeping, got back in the boat. Vic had finished digging everything out, and I had moved my villager over to the other lake. Now, this was the lake that we were supposed to be in the first place, but some miscalculations put us in the other one. This is where things got a little bit tricky. So the boats don't just float back up, especially when there's villagers in them. So we had to break them, recapture our villagers, get them back in the water. Then we filled in the land. I think what we might actually eventually do is this village is close enough that it could still be part of this season. So we might build a lock system. That way we can take boats back and forth if we need to. Now we do have a cart that teleports us back and forth to this village, which I had forgotten about, but that doesn't help us get villagers over. And as you know, our villager trading area, basically all of our villagers are locked in and in place. We can't really use them if we need villagers for another build. Now, this isn't the first time that we had gotten villagers from this place, but it is the first time since, I believe, 1.15? Yeah, 1.15. So we basically had to go back and redig everything out again and reconnect it up to the ocean, which, of course, caused problems in and of itself. But with that all done, we were able to finally get the villagers out to the ocean. Now we just needed to find our way back, which, of course, I have the map. Now, interesting thing, I did not know this before this episode, but if you put the map in your offhand, when you're flying around with your Elytra, or if you're in a boat, you're actually able to see it. Now, you can't see it while you're moving in the boat, but the second you stop, that map pops back up in your offhand. So, thank you, Mojang, for this awesome feature. I wish I had known it sooner. It probably would have saved a lot of time. Moving through here, we are in the ocean on the way to our city. And I'm following Vic. I'm not sure why I'm following him. I have the map, but it is what it is. Now, if you're still watching, you'll notice we make a wrong turn right about here. Yeah, there was a little bit of an argument between the two of us as to who was going the right way and who wasn't, and I was pretty sure it was the wrong way, but he wanted to go this way, and I said, whatever, that's fine, we'll go this way. So, after navigating to the end of the river, turning around, heading back, we finally made it back out to the ocean and just worked our way around, heading through the rest of this ocean biome. And eventually, we do make it over to the mouth of the river, past the One Tree Hill build, and headed up towards the university. Now, the thing is we kind of had this dead space and no other farms around the university, and that's why we decided to build the iron farm there. I'm I'm really glad we didn't build it further in. That would have caused a lot more problems getting villagers in place. So once we kind of came up this river, we skirted under the bridge, and then we had to build a little spot for them so that we could spawn more and more villagers and hopefully get this iron farm filled. Yeah, so just a little tiny spot. We can put, I think, 6 or 8 beds in this, and that's about it. The next thing we had to do was gather resources. Now, we had a lot of concrete powder from doing the grass over at the university. The problem was, it's just that it was concrete powder. So I had to spend a few minutes taking all of this concrete powder, like stacks and stacks, and turning it into concrete so that we could build this thing suspended in the air. Because as we said earlier, it has to be 20 blocks above the ground level. And then the second tier, which we're going to build, has to be another 20 blocks above that. So that's a lot of concrete. I think 6 or 7 stacks on the first round. And then shortly after that, I did another 6 or 7 stacks. But the design that we're going to do is we're going to take the darker of the green concretes and we're going to use that for the base of our 2 levels and the floor of the levels. And then we're taking I believe that's lime green concrete, and we're going to use that to build like our little apartments for each one. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a zombie, there's going to be 3 villagers that look at it, and each one of those villagers is going to be stuck in its own little spot with its own bed. Now, the game mechanic, I guess, involved in this comes with the update. When a villager sees a zombie or any sort of hostile mob, they kind of panic and they'll end up spawning an iron golem. So our hope is that with this design, which is not our own design, we'll be able to get enough iron to support what we need. Now, I had a lot of fun with this part. So we basically had to deal with all these villagers, and we had a little hole up top, and I just kind of threw the bread down. The next thing that we ended up doing is once we got a bunch of villagers, I had to then get them in a rail system and send them down to our iron farm. Now, this was tricky because the 2 villagers that were currently in there, we wanted to save them with their trades locked in so that we could move them into something else a little bit later. One of them had mending, and it was really good. And I don't think that we actually have a mending villager over at the trading hall anymore. So I had to work around all of these guys, fight them into these mine carts, and get them over and in. And then once they were there, I popped them out of the minecart, reconfigured my rail, and set off to get the next villager. Now, it wasn't till the end of this that I had realized that I could have just rocketed it out of each hole, but whatever. Just like it wasn't till the second round that I realized carrots were probably a more efficient way to feed these villagers. So I collected up all of my carrots, probably 6 or 7 stacks, and then went and flew back to go deal with the more villager stuff. Now, the whole time I'm doing this, Vic is off putting in everything that he needs to put in, building each one of the spots. There I go, feeding the villagers again. Yeah, best way by far to feed villagers, I think. Now, if you notice just off to the side, that's where the rail system is. So we use a block to stop them from coming out. Now, this next part's a little bit fun. I'm standing over on a rooftop, seeing how Vic plans to get the zombie in. Now, I do eventually come down and help them, and we put them in mine carts for some of them, and send them down into each one of those spots. Now, on the lower level, we actually got a little bit lucky and had some zombies spawn due to the lower light level, and we just kind of had them walk, follow us in, fall into the hole, and then we tagged them with their name. It worked. It worked all right, except Vic crashed, died, lost his elytra. Now, once all of this was done, as you can kind of see from right now, after we dealt with the problems of the zombies and the problems of the villagers and the elytra problem, we covered the top of everything with our darker green block. Now, what was next? What happened next is the water stream. So, water only goes a finite number of blocks, and we didn't want it going off the back edge, so we coated the outside of it, or lined the outside with just walls, because the walls will stop the water unless the walls are waterlogged. Now, that accidentally happened a couple times during the construction of this, but not a big deal. All I had to do was fly down and fix it. And one thing we didn't take into account right away was the width of our little one step lower. It was actually too short. So we had to go around afterwards and extend all that stuff when we turn the water on. Yeah, it's right there. There I go. Accidentally spilling it all over the floor on the ground. Luckily, it's just torches and not redstone. Okay, everyone, that's one iron farm installed, and as you can see behind me, well, you can only see a little bit. They are coming down, and it is working. So thanks, Vic, for showing me how to build this.
No, actually, thank you so much for coming to help. This was a ginormous task, and I really needed the assistance on it. So I really appreciate the
Yeah.
assistance.
Now, I guess your plan is to build something above it.
Yeah, so now we're gonna lock this all in because they don't need sky access or anything else. We're just gonna lock it all in with a build, something that fits the area of the university and the small town that's already up there.
Okay, perfect. So I will leave you to that.
Thanks so much. Bye.
And with that, I think we're almost out of time. So there's one thing that I did want to check out before ending this video, and that was over here at the road building contest. Now, last time I was over here, we ended up building a road of our own. So it looks like Ninja's redone one of the roads. And I'm not gonna lie, it might actually be pretty close to the winner for the road. I don't know how I feel about this center part, but all in all, I think it looks pretty good. Maybe the best lamppost. Yeah, that's definitely the best lamppost. So I don't know. If you guys want, we can throw in the comments. Maybe we vote for each piece individually, or maybe we do elimination rounds and give people chances to modify their designs. Who knows? We might take another crack at it. There's one empty thing left. I'm gonna give it till next week and see if someone fills this in. If not, I'm gonna give it another go designing a road. And with that, I think we're gonna end here. So I'll see you guys next week. Bye.